socialist all my life.
Okay.
Oh, give me a second. Got it. I gotta I gotta accept the disclaimer. Okay, so yeah, so more or less, I was born and raised a Christian.
Okay.
And some of the morality that I was taught growing up in the church was kind of do unto others as you have to do unto you. We have the basic Jesus platitudes, which is basically the rich giving to the poor, right?
Yeah.
So you have this idea where the rich in general need to, redistribute their wealth. You know what I mean? Especially if you have money, you have so much of it. And ever since then, that has kind of been ingrained into my head. You know what I mean? Growing up into religious schools. I mean, I had no choice. I couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't really remember the time I was ever necessarily like money hungry or like, just craving for like a BMW, a Mercedes, like that. That's never really been my thing.
Sure.
So more or less, I was a big, huge advocate of Obama. Like,
okay.
I was just like, so like, let's start there. Part of my political spectrum is concerned.
Sure.
Never really understood, anything past the liberal, right? So like I said, never really been that money hungry, but more or less, I was looking forward to the first Black president. So that really kind of introduced me into the political world. You know what I mean? I never liked Bush, never liked Clinton.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, okay, this guy, he looks like the real deal. Especially since the stuff that he was saying he believed, which is change, and that's what I wanted. No more bombings overseas, no all the rest of it, right? So when he came into power, I noticed something a little bit different. So like I'm probably not the first Black person to say this, but I cried tears of joy when he was elected.
Yeah.
So when he got elected, that's all I was thinking about. Like, yay, Black president, let's get it. Let's get to this change. You know what I mean? So, and somebody who shared my same complexion,
sure.
Being on that pedestal, that was a big deal. That was a big, huge deal. So I would say like the first 2 years, I was just in political ignorance. So I don't want to say I never really was looking into his policies, but I was just never really I never really looked into what he was doing or what he believed. I just thought that, hey, he said change. That's what he wanted to do. Yeah. I never really understood what it was that I wanted to advocate for, because like I said, I was still in a lot of political ignorance, but he espoused the beliefs I had during his run.
Yeah.
And what happened next? So yeah, I don't know if it was the Occupy Wall Street movement that kind of made me look at him different, or the housing crisis, but there was several few things that I did have a huge problem with. And I was kind of one of those people that was kind of scared to call him out on it, because it was like, no, the figurehead, the symbol, who he was, how he presented himself, that had more importance over the policies.
Yeah.
Still in political ignorance, right? Sure. So so when he what will I say was the last and final straw? It was probably the continuance of the wars overseas in Iraq that I didn't like, that I was a strong advocate against. But again, kept my mouth shut. Shouldn't have, right? But yeah, so just continuing. Where was I? So the war in Iraq.
Yep.
So yeah, him bombing the hell out of funerals, that was just like him bombing the hell out of hospitals, that was like
yeah.
And then since then I was just like, guys, I don't think this is the guy. It might be a hunch, call it him, like, ignoring the tons of bankers that got away with their fucking fraudulent scamming bullshit. Yep. Sorry for cursing. I don't know what kind of.
No, it's okay. Curse.
Okay,
away.
Sure.
Feel free.
It was just like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how dare you? Like, what is going on here? Like, why would you? Because I couldn't believe. Like, I always believed politicians to be liars, but I never once thought, right, the first guy to be on top of the world, I mean, the most powerful man in the world.
Yep.
It was just like, wow, that was just a huge hit in the gut.
Yeah.
And then here comes Bernie Sanders, right? 2016.
Yeah.
Then I was like, guys, I mean, because so now I'm out of my political ignorance, right? So it was now about policy over the symbolics.
Yep.
Now I'm looking into Bernie's history. I'm looking into what he was, the things that he was espousing, gay marriage, when it was very unpopular,
yep.
Legalized marijuana, universal health care,
yep.
all the rest of it. And it looked as though he was like probably one of the only consistent politicians in DC. And I was huge. I was like a huge fan. And then the I guess the icing on the cake was probably when the bird landed on his when the bird landed on his what's it called, the desk, the little so it was just like whoa, here go. All right, so I'm so sorry about it, dog. Give me a second. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I know this is being recorded and that was very inappropriate. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, man. Dogs need attention sometimes. It's understandable.
He is a bitch. Well, she's a bitch, but literally. So, where was I?
Bernie. Right? The bird landed on Bernie or his desk.
The bird landing on Bernie, and then after that, it was wow. Like this is the right guy. This is why I called myself a Democrat in the first place. I would say Bernie kind of embodied that. This was before my radicalization. I would say more or less what contributed to my radicalization is what happened to him. Mm-hmm. So how the election was literally stolen from him. Yeah. How so many things were done to like, you know, to make him tank in the polls, to make him all of the lies and the slander that he got. It was just like, wait a minute. So the Democratic Party is not really for us now, are they? Mm-hmm. They're not really for workers' wages. They're not really for health care. They're not really for housing the homeless. They're not really for all of the things that I thought that the other side was supposed to be against, since they presented themselves as anti-Republican.
Yep.
And so you're doing all of this shit to kind of tank the only real Democrat in your party. I couldn't. So after that, I started reading. I started doing my research. I started, you know, looking back into the autobiography of Malcolm X. I started looking back into the new Jim Crow. I started looking into all the old books that I should have been taking more seriously and taking a deeper dive look than just the surface issues. Mm-hmm. So after that, I just was like, fuck both of these guys. Fuck both of you. All of you. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather work with the people. I would rather work on the floor. I would rather go to community outreach. I would rather do that because I feel like it would be more beneficial. And I am contributing to society more so than putting my ballot into a box of fucking liars and vampires. Yeah. So after that, I just was like, you know what? Let me just go full communist. You know, even if they were presented as the bad guys, because I didn't even know. Because even at the time, I believed all of the stories I got, all the McCarthyist lies that I got, which was, Fidel killed so many people. Che Guevara, he was a rapist, or he was a racist, and who else?
Stalin, we got all that stuff.
Stalin, all of the shit that I grew up in school believing, like, was just bad. I was like, you know what? Let me just join the bad guys because you guys are giving me any reason to hate these people. Come to find out, it was all a lie. Yeah. Come to find out, it was all bullshit, all made up, and I never really investigated it because I never really had too much access to the internet growing up. Mm-hmm. I never, poor broke ass dude, right? So I kind of just after that, I was just like, fuck this. Wow, how manipulated I was, how deluded I was. It wasn't my fault, so I don't really blame myself or anybody who happens to listen to this audio. It's not your fault that, you know what I mean, we are born and raised in a society that will lie to you just to contribute to more mayhem, more slavery, still going on, by the way, more, you know, more prison pop, you know, just to make a quicker dollar. Yeah. 100%. And it was fucked when I heard it. Like, I was like so angry. I was like, I was indoctrinated. No, I was like, no, go fuck you, USA. Come on, what the fuck? How could you do this to me? Yeah, no one deserved that. It's just like, wow, the amount of shit that I just grew up just like idolizing, all a lie. Obama, all a lie. It was lie after lie after lie. And I'm happy that I finally got here when I got here. I mean, better late than never, but still.
Sure.
I mean, where do we go from here for this conversation? I mean, that's my arc.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's an arc I can definitely relate to. I was pretty apolitical, then like, yeah, Obama espousing the whole message of like hope and change, like, oh, that sounds pretty nice. So I was pretty excited when he got elected, and but kind of all the stuff he campaigned on seemed to go, right out the window shortly after he was elected. And then I had those same high hopes for Bernie, and then the Democratic machine completely torpedoed his campaign. But other people have made the point Bernie Sanders is kind of like a sheepdog for the Democratic Party, like the vote blue, no matter who. And like, this is like, we got to get the Republicans out. But then, we have Biden in office now doing the same shit, that Trump was. So it's like, what's really the difference? And yeah, I think I've also been just radicalized by, all of the lies from both, the corporate duopoly, and then also the fact of just like the material conditions around us. Like, we have a massive amount of wealth, but it's controlled by a tiny capitalist class at the top, while the working class continues to suffer. And both parties completely bought and paid for by the capitalist class, and hence why they push through policies that benefit them. And I think you made a really good point about working outside of the system to try to enact change, because it seems pretty clear that we're not able to get any type of real substantive material benefit from working within the corporate duopoly, and also why they fight so hard from making it so difficult for third parties to get on the debate stage, or to get on the ballots, and everything like that. And I think a lot of people are starting to kind of wake up to that reality, and that's also a reason why so many people don't vote in this country, because they realize it doesn't really matter. Like, if somebody's president with the D or R next to their name, nothing's really going to change. There's still going to be endless wars. We're still going to have, more people in prison than anywhere on the country. We're still going to be mass deporting people. Like, people at the top will always do very well, but people at the bottom, not so much, particularly, the vulnerable and marginalized, BIPOC community, other, marginalized groups and whatnot. So definitely points well taken. I can relate to definitely a lot of what you said. So I'd be like the whole kind of abolishing the police thing was pretty new to me, and I hadn't really heard much about that, frankly, until kind of the Black Lives Matter protests that started after George Floyd was murdered on camera. And it's like, obviously the police in the United States just uphold capitalism and white supremacy. I mean, they're literally founded on slave patrols, and cops don't make people safe. They just protect property, and they're just
only solve 2% of major crimes. I mean, when I got that number, I was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
2%. Imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they just like, they're managers of inequality, and how some like police departments in the United States like have bigger budgets than some like militaries like overseas, which is just insane. Like, how many jobs, because cops aren't part of the working class, like they're enemies of the working class, like how many actual jobs or housing or mental health care or food or all types of resources that we could do if we got rid of the police and devoted that to improving people's material conditions. So I guess I just wanted to hear more about your thoughts on kind of abolishing the police, and why that's so necessary, frankly.
Abolishing the police. So people have this misconception that when the police are eventually out of the way, when they don't exist as an entity anymore, that there will be no type of law and order. And I'm here to say, no, that is not true. I personally believe in a neighborhood watch, sort of say. So a community social service where we all as people are contributing to it. Whoever is in charge of this neighborhood outreach or look, basically a neighborhood watch service would like, you know what I mean, would basically live in that neighborhood. So it wouldn't be somebody from like the outside coming in, patrol, leave. No, I want residents to have control over their residents.
Mhm.
So I want, personally speaking, because I guess people do have a different take on this in regards to how it would be overlooked. I would trust my services or kind of that law and order to be carried out by the people. So whatever laws we agree to, I mean, of course, our laws would make more sense because we wouldn't be defending any capital. We wouldn't be defending any of the bullshit establishment. You know what I mean? Everything that the police are in control of now.
Yeah.
And me, myself, being a victim of police brutality has contributed to this. Me getting the cops called on me three times in my life. Me, you know, having encounters with the cops to the point where a cop twisted my arm. Nothing has happened to me. To where it wasn't broken. It was like a horrible sprain. So I was walking out of a liquor store, and then some jag-off asshole just decided to be like, "Hey, did you steal the fucking bottle?" Had the receipt in my bag, was reaching into the bag into the bottle bag. You know what I mean? So imagine that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna carry a weapon inside of a bag, fucking, you know what I mean, liquor bottle. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh, wait, no, hold on now, son." It's just like he twisted my arm around, and then he had his fucking partner next to him just watching and laughing. And that anger that this was a incident that happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago. There was also another recent one I can't really get into, but it was just like that shit.
Yeah.
It was just that shit right there that I was just like, no. And it's the constant stories that we're hearing every day, right? The Jelani Day, the most recent name that came to mind, Sandra Bland, George Floyd, even though his murderer was arrested, not for as long as he should have been, or he should be.
Jacob
right.
Blake,
So we have,
list, yeah, it's an
you know, the list,
right?
it's an endless list, endless amounts of t-shirts, endless amounts of like, what the fuck are we doing here? And something that I would never get away with in a million years.
Yes.
Somebody with a badge will get away with.
Yep.
And that goes to show like that there are people above the law in this society to this day. And I mean, capital controls the law.
Yep.
As long as you have that, you're in control. It's not so that's the law and order. It's like we are run by a literal mafia. So you've seen Goodfellas. I'm not sure if you have. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, yeah.
Play,
So
yeah.
you know what I mean? Godfather. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Like a literal mafia. So that takes into that also coincides with, I mean, what the question was like, how would I conduct a neighborhood watch for, I'm not sure if I explained myself the right way. I'm a little high, I'm sorry.
Oh,
but
it's okay, no worries. You can medicate.
So yeah, so a neighborhood watch, yeah. So I would I would trust my life into the hands of the people, and a residential neighborhood watch program. There could be a number that could kind of provide that it would be immediate. So like, it was like, or if you needed let's say you had suffered a heart attack, you know, there'd be a number for that. Let's say you suffering domestic disturbance, there's a number for that. You know what I mean? Basically, an entire restructuring of this system right here.
Yeah.
And that's the one that, you know, seems a lot more trustworthy. And yeah. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely we need to abolish the police in the United States. They don't make people safe. They respond to material conditions. So if we really want to make people and communities feel safe, make sure they have access to good living wage jobs, healthcare, housing, food, clean water, like the basic necessities, like you take care of that, like you're going to address a lot of the reasons why people are committing crimes in the first place, right? And definitely, you know, like what you're saying, like they're you know, they're above the law. If that you know, person wasn't wearing a badge, or if you know, reacted that way towards a cop, like they would have throwing your ass in prison, right? And like how
Right.
also, you know, a lot of times, you know, we only see the police violence and brutality and murder that's caught in video, but that's only a very small subset of like the overall, just the violence they're meting out, you know, every day, particularly to, you know, BIPOC community, particularly to, you know, poor people, just for, yeah, it's stupid shit. Like you were just walking out of a liquor store and they just brutalized you for that. I mean, it's just disgusting. And I feel like a lot of people that, you know, try to defend the police and say we need them, or like what will happen when they're gone, like haven't really experienced like the type of stuff that you're talking about, or also aren't really taking into account the function that police play, you know, in the United States. And also how, yeah, like the laws are created by, you know, the capitalist class, by the owning class, and that's why they're kind of meted out as such. But yeah, I definitely think just addressing people's material conditions would, like, you're not really going to need a whole lot of quote unquote law enforcement if people are guaranteed, you know, a good standard of living. And we definitely have enough wealth and resources to do that in the United States.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think just yeah, and you know, yeah, definitely like the community aspect, like looking out for, you know, your neighbor, like your neighborhood makes a lot of sense. And I think, I mean, like there's not, you don't see a whole lot of cops in like rich white neighborhoods, right? There's a reason for that. Like there's not a lot of crime happening there because people have their material conditions met. We extend that to the broader society. Like we're not going to need police anymore, and they get a shit ton of money that we could devote to a lot of these other you know, positive things. And I always think it's so interesting, like the United States is known as the land of the free, even though we have the world's biggest, you know, prison population, right?
We do not just here, overseas. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's a, you know what I mean, because it's kind of, it coincides with the private prison complex. So like we literally pay to have prisoners. I mean, another attribute to slavery that continues to this day. This is a new fucking found form of slavery. And I feel like these cops are just fucking slave catchers. Like that's what it is. You know what I mean? And what are those prisons populated with? Non-violent fucking drug offenders. Motherfucker wants to smoke a little grass, harmless fucking grass. Makes you horny and giggle. Oh my God, lock him up for 30 years.
Or
lock him up for board.
Throw
away the fucking key. I think I read a story the other day where there was somebody who was going to jail for the third time, but he's facing a 40 years for an ounce
of weed. Jesus Christ, dude, that is insane.
I forget. I mean, like you'll find this anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's just like, it's stories like this that just like, they just makes my blood boil. Like I cannot for the life of me understand why, you know what I mean, shit like this. I mean, have we not learned anything since prohibition? So have we not learned anything since, like, it's this continuance. Like we never seek to learn from history how we have just added to the endless amounts of dead bodies unnecessarily just because some motherfucker up top wants a little bit more dimes. Like, he just wants a little bit more cash, stocks to go up a little bit more. It's this continuance that I am sick of, and I just heard every single day. That's why I probably told you earlier that I never really considered myself a capitalist ever, because as long as I did, I felt a pawn to this. You know what I mean? I never really understood what to call myself because I was never really associated with communism, because I was taught to believe they were the bad guys, right? So it's like I was in theory, but I was so afraid to call myself that.
Yeah.
So now it's just like out in the open that everything I've been taught is a lie, and I feel like we have a responsibility and obligation to teach people what the fuck is up going and how to move things forward without these so-called representatives who are contributing to the violence here and overseas. And the only way for us to free these people, these sovereign nations, from their suffering is that we put our fucking foots down on these motherfuckers' necks here. And I tell people, my friends, this, but I want Joe Biden to be my last president. This cannot continue. In 20 years, how long are scientists giving us before the global collapse?
Like
20. Go ahead.
Not very long. Yeah, I mean,
not very long at all.
The climate reports, like, definitely in a climate catastrophe now, and that's another crisis created by capitalism. And again, like all these crises created by capitalism, it's the most vulnerable and marginalized who are going to be who already are impacted by it the most, whether in the United States or outside of it, like these island nations who haven't contributed, shit to global, emissions, like they're underwater, like we heard, like the hurricanes, like Katrina, etc. Like it's not going to be the rich motherfuckers. They're going to be off, colonizing Mars
in space. They're already telling us.
Whatever, right?
They're already telling us what to do. They're going to fucking take a dick to the sky. They're already telling. They're telling us right now what they're trying to do. Space hotels. What the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Space hotels, mission to Mars. Like, we're trying to colonize Martians. Not like, come on, man. Well, there has to. It's gross. It's gross what's going on. And what's also gross is that we don't understand how much power we have as a unit, or in a form of solidarity, and how we always allow these wedge issues to fucking divide us. And that's what it is. Constant distractions. I get it. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the movie They Live, but so in this movie, the main character, I forget his name, has a pair of sunglasses, and every time he puts on the sunglasses, he looks at a billboard or a sign, and it says obey, trust, and all of these catchphrases, like of what this system is, literally is. Yeah. Consumerism. Consumer. You know what I mean? Obey. Marriage and repopulate the earth, or marriage and procreate. You know what I mean? It was. I do recommend you seeing it if you haven't already. But
I'll check it
at
out.
the same time, like one of John Carpenter's best, bro. Okay. It is. But anyway, yeah, that just goes into why I have been so like kind of lackadaisical in my activism, right? Because I've been so caught up in my own life, and that's what the system like wants you to do. Yeah. It wants you to be so kind of weary and drained and numbed to like, what can I do, man? Yeah, Trump is president. What can I do, man? Yeah, Obama president. But what you gonna do, man? Are we gonna vote for the other guy, man? Like all of these things we have been so programmed to do, and we just keep on falling to these fucking traps. And I really am so sick of like fighting people on the inside. I want solidarity. I don't know about you. I want to build this unit. I want to build this army. I'm serious about this. This is something that not only am I passionate about, but it just needs to happen if our species is to exist any longer. If I'm blessed enough to have grandkids, I want them to live in an inhabitable fucking earth. Yeah. Is that too much to fucking ask? I ask you, is that too much to ask?
I don't think that's too much to ask. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I sound great. I don't know if I sound crazy to anybody who might be listening, but it's just like, I want you to live, bro. Yeah. I want you to live. Not only do I want you to live, I want you to be happy. You want you to be happy. And that's the thing. We all want to be happy. This is not the system to do it. Yeah. It's just not. And every single time we try, every single time we get so little closer and closer and closer. And then, something bad happens. A tragedy happens. You run into the wrong person. You run into the wrong individual. And I get it. There are assholes who just will get your fucking mind warped. Mm-hmm. But that's not your fault. And the thing is, it is hard to stay on the mission. But the important thing is to be on the mission. Just like be consistent. Yeah. Be consistent in your morals. Be consistent. Like challenge yourself. Go outside. Introduce not even communism, but just some advocacy in regards to being against the establishment. So you don't even have to put a name on it. Fuck communism, right? Yeah. You don't have to be like me. But what I'm asking you to do is to be against what's going on here if our species is to survive. You put whatever name you want on it, but at the same time, a radical change is needed in order for us to survive. Like it, like it or not. You know what I mean? It's what it is. Yeah. So yeah, you go ahead.
Capitalism is literally like a death cult and so unsustainable in so many ways. I mean, it's an economic system based on exponential or infinite, growth on a finite planet. Like that's kind of gonna come crashing into each other as we've seen. And it just makes me think of like the pandemic in the United States. We couldn't even get universal fucking healthcare during a pandemic. That's like how far right the political system, both parties are in the United States. We couldn't even get universal healthcare, which would have saved, hundreds of thousands of lives.
Hundreds and thousands. I would say millions, but that's just my number. I don't know. Like, I mean, I trust the statistics, and I'm not sure if that was a conservative estimate that you gave, but at the same time, it's just like how many people would be affected if, let's say Bernie Sanders was president right now.
Cancel student loan. He would at least cancel student fucking loans.
At least.
I know that. Yeah.
How many prisoners would be in jail? Off of it, because like I said, like 1/5 of the population of prisons are nonviolent drug offenders. So the legalization of marijuana would immediately, release. How many prisoners would be released just off of that alone? Just descheduling marijuana. Yeah. Like, it's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous, man. You know what I'm talking about.
The establishment saw him as a threat, even though he's just slightly to the left of the Democratic Party. They still saw him as a threat, and so they had to kind of push him to the side both times, and people were working behind the scenes to make sure he wouldn't become president, and it worked. But I also feel like he could have definitely went a little more like burn that shit to the ground, like calling out like the system more than he did. But just Bernie is kind of who he is.
I mean, forgive me, this is gonna be a little bit controversial, but it's just like I feel a whole new way about him now than I did back in 2000, was it 19? 20, where Bernie was. It's kind of like he was the figure that kind of like pushed me into communism, even though I kind of always considered myself that. But at the same time, it's like the guy who he is now is like he's pushing for universal 2-year community college. And that is the watered down shit. Yeah. I'm just like, dude, have you become a part of the system, or were you always this way? You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's just this disappointment every time I see a post from them. Yeah. And it like my heart breaks every single time I see like, oh, we need to push for this infrastructure bill, even though it has no climate protections, even though it has little to no health care, even though it has little to nothing that the people in general need.
Yes.
And it's this fucking polished, watered down, milquetoast bullshit that I just know that's not what we need right now. No. Imagine if you were on the street right now. How would you feel about this stuff? You would not be cheering them on. If you were one of these people on the street, with millions of them, by the way, people are still getting deported, evicted, and deported. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if you were a Haitian getting roped up by a horseman. I felt like I was watching a trailer for Django Unchained 2. Right. Come on, man. This is like, no, you would not be accepting this. Imagine if you were a kid in a cage. You would not be accepting this. So to accept this is defeat. This is defeat. I don't want to be a defeatist. I'm somebody who believes in utopia. I personally take that seriously, right? Where, you know what I mean? Like, maybe one day, maybe not in a Gene Roddenberry Star Trek world. Maybe not. But why not? Why can't we aspire to be like that? Why can't we aspire to be like a federation or whatever the hell, right? Like, why not? Why is that so? I mean, you know what I mean? I'm just an optimist like that. You know what I mean? I just feel like we could do so much better than we're doing, and we're choosing not to do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because a lot of us are numb. I get it. Yeah. But you want to know something? Yo, you do deserve to be angry. But don't be angry at somebody like me. Be angry at somebody like them. I have no power. Somebody who could control the overall infrastructure. This fake ass fugazi fake infrastructure. Everything about this infrastructure is fake. It's fugazi. It's a green piece of paper. Credit scores were invented 1989? Like, this is wacko. There's no reason for this. None. This is a fake system that we're continuing to perpetuate, and enough is enough. Time for a new one. Time for a new one. Like I said, you don't got to put communism on it. You don't call it socialist, but it's just like something new. New. We got to this needs to go.
This shit That's ain't what working.
I know. It's not for how many workers? 80% of workers paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Nobody could afford housing. Nobody could afford rent.
Emergency
with a minimum wage job.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it makes me think of like Bernie, like the idea, like if you're actually a real threat to these systems, whether it be the political system or the police, or we could get into the child welfare system in a minute, like you're not going to be able to get in positions of power within these systems. And we kind of see that, with Bernie, as soon as Biden got elected, like you're saying, he stopped talking about Medicare for all. Now it's maybe lowering the Medicare eligibility age or the free community college. We're not talking about abolishing ICE anymore, or the kids in the cages, or how the
we were under Trump though, right? We were radical under Trump though, right? You know, we were talking that big, heavy. You know, we were giving them the establishment some artillery because the orange guy, right? The orange guy was the problem, right? That's what we were doing.
Yeah.
It's always some figurehead. It's always a scapegoat, and I'm like, no. Fool me once, right?
Yeah, I just want I forgot who said it, but there's like the quote of like, you know, the people who defend capitalism as being such a good system, even though they're not capitalists, they're just like disgraced
workers.
millionaires, or they become millionaires like in the future or something, right? Like, no, we need to have more horizontal solidarity and not vertical solidarity to the fucking capitalist class that is oppressing us within the imperial core, outside of it, and killing the planet. Like, kind of important to have a inhabitable planet for our generation and future generations, right?
Yeah, like I said, don't do it for me, do it for you, and do it for you, and do it for your loved ones. Don't worry about me. I mean, you don't know me. I'm just a guy talking. But am I speaking lies? Like, you know what I mean? Texas experienced its coldest winter last year. How many houses were out of power? I've never experienced that in my lifetime. I don't know about you. I'm only 29 years old, so I'm only going off of, you know, what I know. But has Texas ever experienced a snowstorm of that magnitude that you know of?
So.
Not in my lifetime.
No.
I mean, shit. I mean, the hottest summers. How many years have we had a record high summer?
Yeah.
And the temperature is always going to go up. This winter, I fear for the people on the streets, and there's so many people in the streets.
Right. Yeah. It's like,
yeah, I mean, so it's like,
yeah, we have what, 500,000+ homeless people, but it's like 10 or 12 million houses that are vacant. Yeah.
And it's gonna somehow what were the words used to me? Like what would housing those homeless people do to the
stock market,
to the market? So it's like, and that's the thing, like this idea of a market. Why do we need it? Why is that so important to somebody? Just get them in a house. That's it. That's all. You wouldn't be the wiser. They're not gonna bother you. They're not gonna bother you. You're gonna be in a home off the street. Do you people appreciate? Because I don't know about you, but in New York, every single time I leave my house, there's a new sign. There's somebody with a new sign. There's a homeless woman with a child. I have cancer. Going on the train, every single stop, new sign. On the trains, they're living on the trains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we got cops just coming in, just like, oh, wake up. It's like, it's sick.
Yeah.
It's sick. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not. It's just not.
I
live. I'm trying to avoid saying something politically incorrect on your show. I'm sorry, but
it's okay.
I have a tendency to say some language or say some words that I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Sure, it happened. Yeah, I live in Washington State, but I've noticed the same thing with the homeless population here and just different cities like around me, like people just in the woods, living in tents, like living in these really horrible fucking conditions, and there's no reason for that. Just the capitalist system puts profits above little people's fucking lives, including like kids and most vulnerable and marginalized, and like people return, like veterans and people with disability, like all of it's just so fucking disgusting. But yeah, it's like Richard Wolff says, like the system is the sickness, right? And that's why we need to get rid of this capitalist system.
How is Bezos gonna buy a new yacht? How is fucking what's that fucking piece of, what's that robot's name? Zuckerberg?
Yeah, Zuckerberg.
Zuckerbot. Yeah, how is he gonna, you know what I mean? Like, how much did that loser ass nigga lose? 7 billion, right?
Yeah.
Think about what we could have done with that $7 billion that just like evaporated in thin air.
Right.
What we could have built, how many communities we could have helped. But no. Oh, oopsie. You know, he has another 200 billion lying around somewhere, right?
Yeah.
It's just, you know, well, it's shit like that I'm just like, man. And what did these people actually do for those billions and billions of dollars? What did they actually contribute? Have they ever picked up a shovel in their life? Have they picked up anything, a hammer, a nail in their life? Has that? I don't think that's happened.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? Just another, just another trust fund baby getting another fucking triple dose of what their fucking fathers or mothers got. It's just like,
yeah. Well, and the only way you're able to become a billionaire or somebody with that amount of wealth is to, exploit the people working for you and then exploiting the environment as well, right? And
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Also, I was curious, like, what is your opinion on like legalizing all drugs? Because my perspective, it should all be legalized.
Absolutely.
For adults,
I mean,
right?
what you put in your body is your business.
Yes.
Why? Prostitution, same thing. A woman wants to go fuck for money. Let a girl fuck for money. Who cares? There are men who doing it. Prostitution has been an industry since I think since we were cavemen, since we were cave people, since the first cave prostitute. Like, who cares? Who cares? Who really cares? And all of these politicians are contributing to it anyway. How many politicians have been caught with some like underage boy in some fucking motel room?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, it's just who. Like I said, like, I do want some low-key regulation just to keep the workers safe, but at the same time, let them be. It's in your body. Let it be.
Yeah.
Okay, crack overdose, rehab. Okay, I mean, that should be free. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
But I want actual freedom, and whatever the hell that means. Just the whole about the abolition of currency as a concept.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I mean, it just causes more mayhem than it helps anybody. It has caused millions of lives, and it's still causing millions of lives to this very second. How many? You'll look up the stats right now. You go online, you just see how many people die a day just from a lack of healthcare, from a lack of food, from a lack of this, lack of that. And meanwhile, motherfuckers is buying all these real estates for what? For who? For who? Stock prices going up for who? This imaginary ass system is fucking killing us. It is killing us.
Literally, yeah.
It is killing us. It should not have been. I did not create this. I am so sorry for anybody who has been affected by the United States foreign policy. I am an American, but I do not consider this land America. I believe in land back.
Yep.
What else? I believe that this land should be called what the natives have called it, the indigenous have called it, and they should be the ones to redistribute the land to however they see fit. Those are my beliefs.
Yeah.
And yeah, some people might see that as radical. I'm seeing that as justice. You want to believe in justice and truth? Well, here's the truth. This land has been fucking paved by genocide, murder, rape, and all the rest of it. So ain't no motherfucking choice in capital. Oh, people should have a choice. No, nobody chose to die by the billions, or the millions, right? Nobody chose that.
Yeah.
All right. That was something that was brought unto them because we needed the. What did we need? What did the Spaniards need? You tell me, Todd. What did they need? Like, they just needed more land to conquer, or the Queen wasn't giving them enough. What was that?
Columbus was literally chopping off people's fucking arms if they couldn't bring enough fucking gold and like silver and shit back to him. I mean, the mother, he was a piece of shit. Yeah, and like the like Gerald Horne in his book, The Counter Revolution of 1776, like the American Revolution, as it was called, was actually a counter-revolution, and they were fighting it against the British because they wanted to keep slavery in the fucking United States. And he pointed out, this country was founded on the genocide of the Native Americans, the enslavement of, African people, and, white supremacy and capitalism. That's all this fucking place is about, right? And then any country that actually tries to look out for the best interests of the working class, whether it be Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, North Korea, et cetera, the United States can't have that. Like, people in Cuba have universal healthcare, they have universal education. Same thing in Nicaragua, same thing in Libya. So we had to go fucking overthrow Gaddafi and destroy everything there.
Oh, rest in
literally
peace,
have open air fucking slave markets.
I was even taught to hate him, and I hate myself for that. I hate myself for having what he believed in. Oh my God, that poor man. Oh my God, fuck Hillary. I'm gonna go off. I'm sorry. It's just like You understand what I'm saying,
yes,
Todd?
100%.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand my frustration?
Yes.
You understand, man.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything new. I'm pretty sure you heard this spiel a billion times. But you know what? Damn, like how much more can this information be repackaged? How many more of my ancestors need to die? How many more of my teachers have taught us what's going on? You guys want to put them on a pedestal, and nothing has been happening. Nothing. And it just...
I mean, it makes me think of like fucking the sanctions the US and Biden just signed into law on fucking Nicaragua. And there were so many documents of people going down there and showing what the election process was like, a whole lot more fair and open than what we have in the United States. And the only reason they want to overthrow the Sandinista government and Ortega is because they don't want to become a fucking another imperial colony of the United States, and they're facing horrible consequences as a result. It's just fucking disgusting, man.
It's gross, and you don't even have to agree with all I said, but you gotta agree with half of what I said. Excuse me, half of what we said. I'm not the only one contributing to this conversation. It's ridiculous. It's how many podcasts have you had so far, by the way?
I've had a few people on. I've had like maybe 9 or 10 episodes with somebody who's in the MSW program with me. I had this other dude on. I've had this doctor of economics on to talk about socialism with Chinese characteristics, and then Stalin in the USSR. So I think 4 or 5 other people.
Stalin in the USSR. I believe there was a book that I forget the name. It was give me 1 second. I'm gonna look up the book because I do have it saved.
No problem.
I do. Give me a second. Give me a break. Give me a break. I don't know if you can still see me on camera. I'm probably off right now.
Yeah, you're off camera. No worries.
Let me see. I do have it saved. Okay, so lies concerning Stalin.
Okay.
So a good pro-Stalin website that I would kind of suggest people go to in order to kind of get the real history behind Stalin and the USSR. Yeah. It's called StalinSocietyGB.wordpress.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you heard that. I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Stalin Society, one word. Stalin Society GP, GB, one word.
Okay.
.wordpress.com.
Perfect.
And there was a book. I'm looking for that book because I'm on the website right now looking. Okay. All right, so we got a couple of William Hearst, history on him and his contribution to the disinformation campaign that he was working with the Nazis in order to kind of form the McCarthy bullshit. So the book is called Fraud, Famine, and Fascism. Okay. The Ukrainian genocide myth from Hitler to Harvard. Okay. This is a pro-Stalin book. Did you get that? Or did you?
I got it. Yeah, I just wrote it down. Sure. Thank you. I'll check it out.
It's a very informative book in regards to the real history and to the unbiased breakdown of the USSR and their contributions to what they were trying to do, improve people's life. Yes,
they did.
They did survive. They did go through a famine. They did, but that was no there was no fault of communism as a system. It was just it was the world that was being crushed. You know what I mean? It's like a tornado. Okay, a tornado comes. Okay, that's the fault of capitalism, right? You would never make that argument for capitalism, right? Whenever a tornado hits, right? Yeah. But when a famine hits, no, that's communism.
Those goddamn socialists.
The Irish potato famine. That was a fault of what's his name again? I mean, we can really get into it. I mean, all of the disinformation that was put out there that Stalin killed his own people just because he hated anything capitalism. He did, but to frame him up as the monster that he was, totally disingenuous. And really do your research, people. It's really important stuff. Like, because the stuff that I'm talking about, I know you kind of would want for society, right? And you're in the betterment of it. You know, like I said, not for me. Fuck me. I don't care about what I'm saying. Like, I'm just spewing bullshit. But for the sake of you and your kin and for your family, they're not going to survive. They're not going to. They're living in the same planet I am. So you can hate me, you can hate Todd all day. But at the end of the day, at the end of the week, there's going to be 20 years, 20, 30 down the line. So I really hope you got a space shuttle. Yeah. I hope you do.
I hope we can get on that somehow.
On that fucking engine, bro. I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, but I mean, like you're saying, like you don't even have to necessarily put a label on it, but these policies like are vastly popular by a huge majority of people, like giving everybody health care, making sure everybody has a house, food, access to college, canceling student loan debt, like all of these things. But like we can't have nice things here because it's a fucking shitty capitalist system, right? Don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I think maybe quickly we could talk about like the idea of like abolishing the child welfare system. I just looked at a stat, like 87% of the kids in foster care in California were there for neglect cases. So, and also like the idea of how cops can be social workers and act in that role. So they're like the police without being the police. Something I've been really mulling about, because I'm in this program through my school where I'm interning at the public child welfare system here, and they're paying for my tuition, but I just don't know if in good conscience I can, go work in that system once I graduate. So I'm really like kind of grappling with that, and I was just kind of curious to get your perspective on it.
I'm not really too informed on the how that system operates, so you could probably educate me on that, because I'm not really too familiar. But correct me if I'm wrong. You said the child welfare system? Sorry.
Yeah, child welfare. Yeah.
Okay, so how many children are currently on it? Do you have that estimate? I mean, just to throw a number out there.
I don't have that number out the top of my head, but I do know there's huge issues of like racial disproportionality in it.
And
largely just a lot of poor people and poor families, Hispanic, and kids of color that come
Black,
into contact.
Of course.
It.
So why would it be any different in that system than it is now?
Yeah.
And it's so how do we move forward with that? I mean, like I said, I do not want to work with this system at all. I don't even want that as a concept. Like, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I'm really like.
It's gonna be kind of difficult, but my opinion on it would be we're not contributing too many funds to it now, are we? We're not giving billions and billions of dollars to fund that system. What we're doing is we're giving Saudi Arabia billions of dollars of weapons deals. We're giving Israel domes. We're giving protections to apartheid regimes. But how much money do we get out of helping children here?
Yeah.
How much money can we churn from that? You see what I mean? You see where I'm going with this? It's not too profitable to give the kids. You know what I mean? It's not really where the money is at. So you want my opinion on it? That it would be that. It's not a profitable system, so therefore it wouldn't be too much in the capitalist nature to be like, you know what? Some kids need some help. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I gave a very base level-headed breakdown of it, but
sure. No, that makes sense. Man. Yeah. One of the kind of upending the child welfare system conference I went to actually for my internship was one of the stats was 52% of Black children will become involved in the child welfare system at some point in their lives. And somebody else made the point, like, if you think Black lives matter, why don't Black kids, moms, and families matter that come into contact with the child welfare system? So I just don't know if, like, in good conscience I could go work for that system, kind of knowing what I know now. And this is a pretty good book I just started. It's becoming Abolitionist by Jerica Purnell. Super interesting. I just started that, but one of the things she says is, like, if you're an actual threat to the system, like, you're not gonna be able to become a part of it, right? And I don't know. So I just don't know if you can really make any changes by becoming a part of these systems. And kind of like you were saying, you need to work outside.
Well, those kids do need help. So I would not discourage people from anything that could, like, help, as many people as they can.
Okay.
But I guess we have to, in the meantime, we do have to work within our means, or as much as you can. So like I said, this is not to discourage anybody, you especially, to not work within it, but at the same time be conscious of the disparity, be conscious, like you just explained, be conscious of just like, it's just not enough. Just like Salvation Army as an institution and what they've been doing behind closed doors, same thing with everything here. It's the same thing with everything else in regards to, like, charity, right? Just charity is not enough. It's saved lives. They have contributed to it, but it's just like, but to the fullest extent, I can't really say that either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, and the reason, like, these, quote unquote, like, charities exist is because of this messed up, unequal system that we have, that, a small amount of people have all the wealth and resources, while there's so many people struggling and dying. And like you said, the system wants to keep people in that very precarious cycle, so you're not able to, you know, step back and fight against it and, you know, organize with your comrades about it. But I do see, you know, some hope, especially with all these labor strikes that are happening in these different fields across the United States. It seems like, you know, labor is finally really getting, you know, fed up. And I feel like that is one of the huge ways that we can actually impact the capitalist system is hit them where it hurts. And that's, you know, in their pocketbooks, right?
Yep. Yeah, man. Man, you're preaching to the choir right now. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's so like refreshing to speaking to somebody like you that kind of like understands. And you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because from Black person to white person, it's just like, you know, like, yeah, I've experienced horrors that of course you probably wouldn't understand, but it's just like at this point, I don't want, and this is coming from me. I'm not speaking for all Black people, right?
Yeah.
It's to the point of I don't demand you suffer like how I've suffered. I wouldn't wish my life on my worst enemy, right? Yeah. So like just as long as you have that consciousness of this is what we're going through and you want to fight alongside, I'll have yours out. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't choose my skin, you didn't choose yours. It's like this is gonna come from me. And like at the end of the day, we just need to push for more anti-establishment voices, just like the non-voters. You said how a majority of this country doesn't vote because of, you know, they're so tired of the bullshit theater, you know, because that's what it is. It's all a play. It's all a play. It's all a fucking facade. I mean, I saw the most polished and, you know, what's the word to describe Colin Powell's funeral? Just like the most, not polished, but the prestigious,
the theatrics
for war criminals.
Yeah,
a guy who lied and got millions of people killed. Look how we memorialize him. I kill millions of people. I'm a terrorist, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's my ass, right?
Yeah.
But no. If I'm a United States general, if I'm a general, right?
Yeah.
I've served and I kill millions of people. Now I'm a hero.
Yeah.
I kill innocent people and I'm a hero. How, my nigga? How?
Yeah.
My nigga, how?
Yeah. No, I think
I dare one of y'all to memorialize one of the 9/11 terrorists. Go ahead.
Right.
Yo, go ahead.
Yeah, either I say like don't say anything about Colin Powell or call him out for being the war criminal is. Same with Bush, Cheney, all them pieces of shit. Yeah.
Dick Cheney, how the fuck is this piece of shit still alive? What the fuck?
Same with Kissinger, right?
They're gonna treat George Bush the same way. They're gonna treat all of these pieces of shit the same way.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Margaret Thatcher. How many of these fucking, you know?
I know Ilhan.
How many?
Ilhan Omar was being interviewed by this British outlet, and she said that her political idol was Margaret Thatcher.
Of all the people she could have named, out of all the people she could have named, and what was her reasoning? Oh, because she didn't take shit from no man. Or something like that.
Yeah, because she was a woman in that position of power.
But don't like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not a quote, but it's just like paraphrase, like some bullshit. Like, okay, did Harry Tubman take shit from a man? Did Rosa Parks? I mean, there is a billion and one women you could have chosen from, sis.
Or even
Thatcher.
That's kind of like the one of the bad things about liberal identity politics, right? Like you can diversify the empire. We'll have
substance there, right?
You know, a diverse war cabinet as they're, you know, bombing the shit out of the global South and Black and brown people there, right?
It's utterly ridiculous. And you see how we're arguing the substance of the matter, and it's hard. And for some reason, that's difficult for people to come to the conclusions that we have. It's important. Like I said, analyzation is important, whether it be self-analytical or just how you perceive the world, and just always question yourself. Always seek to question your beliefs, because you know what I mean. Like, because we don't have enough of that. We have people who have this confirmation bias who are very, very comfortable in the ideologies that they were taught. So I kind of encourage people to step aside from what your mommy and daddy taught. They can still be influential figures. I'm not trying to take away your love, your admiration for the people who raised you or what you were raised on. But for sometimes you do need to take a step back and just look at the fucking world from an objective point of view, despite what you've been taught. Everything. And then just really look and just really question yourself, like, is this the truth? I mean, we have been taught truth, right? I mean, truth is it's such an overused word, you know, everyone uses it. It's like, it's kind of like lost all meaning, but it's just like, have you challenged your beliefs? Have you? I mean, despite this is where the conversation will get messy if I bring up religion or anything else. So I don't want to go into that. But what I do want to go into is like the political spectrum and the people who do decide to continue to vote, who do decide to perpetuate, this because they are so believing of a CNN, of a Rachel Maddow, or a Bill Maher, or a whatever
Fox
commentator
News,
you decide or pundit is thrown in your face on a daily basis. You know what I mean? It's question. You know what I mean? Just like how they're human beings, and the people that we like to put on pedestals as gods and representatives, they're no smarter than you or I. And in a lot of these cases, they're dumber than you or I. I dare me and MTG take an SAT test, and who comes out the motherfucking I don't know. Just
yeah, no,
point
well taken.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing either.
Yeah, point well taken. Like as Mao said, we got to be able to engage in criticism and self-criticism, and like as a good communist or Marxist, be able to analyze the material conditions as they are, look at the reality around us through a very objective lens, and provide that type of analysis. But liberals, conservatives don't really do that. Don't want to take up any more of your time today, but this was really fun. Any last parting words, or where could people find you on social media, etc.?
I guess my Twitter is Black Commie Therapist. You'll see some shit. I do tend to be a little bit playful, but I also want to be informative as well as ratchet. So just a very healthy mixture of the two. Just so just to keep you engaged, right?
Sure.
So I try to entertain, but I also I call it edutainment. I don't know if I coined that term, but I call it edutainment.
I like it.
Educational, but also entertaining. You know what I mean? Why not?
Sure.
Why not have both?
Yeah.
So that's me. And follow Todd, y'all. I mean, I'm not sure if you're gonna retweet this or whatever. I mean, I would encourage
I'll put this out. I'll probably put this out tomorrow, and I can send you the link when I add it to my YouTube channel tomorrow.
Oh, sure, you got my DM. I mean, this was fun. I mean, I hope to do it again. This would be my first interview.
Okay.
I've never interviewed anybody or allowed myself to interview, but I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna talk, I might as well get used to a format like this, so I could be. I'm not sure if I articulated my points too well either. I mean, that's in my own head, right? It's
sure.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I thought you did a great job, and I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That was your first time too, so
it really was. This was fun, bro.
Thanks again. We'll have to do it again. Peace.